Alright students, this is Mr. Lentz. We're about to do the Chapter 7 test review sheet. This is how I would take my test if I were actually taking my own test. Let's look at number 1. It says, what is the perimeter? Well, perimeter is the distance around an object. So, if I see this parallelogram over here, I just have to walk around this parallelogram and, of course, add up all of the sides to find how far I've actually walked. Well, in this case, got to remember this side's going to be 15 1/4 because the opposite side is that same length. Same over here. So that's 13 feet. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to add up all 4 of these sides. So when I add up all 4 of those sides, I get 56.5, and it's a linear distance. Therefore, we just put feet on it. There's no 2 or 3 that go with it. All right, let's take a look at number 2. What is the area? Well, let's remember, the area of a parallelogram has a formula called base times height. So all you need to do is find the base and the height. The way you do that is you look for the right angle. The right angle is connecting the base and the height. This side here is the base, which is 13. And the height would be the other connector to that right angle symbol, and that's 14 feet. So when we multiply 13 times 14, we get 182. In this case, area, the space inside that parallelogram, is measured in square units, and that's why we have a 2 on the feet there. So that means square feet. All right, let's take a look at number 3. What is the area of this triangle? Well, again, we got to go into our tool chest and find a formula that works for a triangle. So the area of a triangle is base times height divided by 2. So we have to locate our base and our height. Again, look for that right angle. Here's our base. That's 18.4 times 12, which is our height. Once we get that, divide by 2. When we do that, we get an answer of 110.4. That's going to be centimeters to the second power again, because we're measuring area. Area is always measured in squares. Alright, let's take a look at number 4. What is the area of this trapezoid? Well, here's the formula for a trapezoid. It is, take your bases and add them up, base 1 and base 2. Those are the parallel lines. Multiply by the height and divide that by 2. So let's find our bases. Our bases are 11 feet and 7 feet. Again, those are the parallel lines. So we take and plug into our formula. Oops. Here it is, 11 plus the 7 multiplied by how tall it is. There's our 7. And then we divide by 2. When we do that, we end up with 63. So that's 63 feet squared. Again, we're looking for area. Area is measured in square units. Alright, how about number 5? Here we are into circles. What is the circumference of this circle? It says use 3.14 for pi and round to the nearest tenth. Well, circumference has a formula, and I see they give us the radius, so here's the formula I would use for circumference given this picture. That's the radius, so I'm going to use the radius formula for circumference. 2 times pi times radius, which is 2 times 3.14 times the radius of 16. And that's a linear distance. Remember, circumference is the distance around, it's kind of like perimeter on a polygon. When we multiply all that together, we get 100.5 kilometers. It actually comes out to 100.48. But we have to round here to the nearest tenth. Therefore, I look here and say, is that 5 or greater? Yes, it is. knock that off and make this a 5. This is what you change to a 5. That's the answer. All right, what's the area? Well, area of a circle is pi times radius squared. That's the tool we need to use. So we plug in our 3.14, we plug in our radius, which is 16, and we square it. And this equals, if we do it correctly on our calculator, 803.84. And we're going to round to the nearest tenth, so we look at this 4, and that's actually not 5 or greater, therefore we just drop it off. So there's our answer, 803.8, in this case, kilometers, and this is an area, so we're going to put a 2 on it. Circumference is actually just a linear distance as you're walking around, so there is no 2 on that one. All right, let's go over to number 7. It says a dog ran around a circular track 2 times. If the track had a radius of 50 yards, how far did the dog run? Use 3.14 for pi and round to the nearest tenth. Well, first off, I need to draw myself a circle because I need to see this versus just seeing the words. So there's a circle, and it says it has a radius of 50 yards. Okay. And the dog runs around 2 times. So we're talking about the circumference. So this dog's going to run around 1 and then 2. So if I could find the circumference, then I can just double it and I'll have my answer. Circumference in this case, again, I see they gave us radius, so I'm going to use the radius formula for circumference, and that's 2 times pi times radius. So 2 times 3.14 times the radius, which is 50. Now when I do that, I'm going to get 314 yards. That's just for one trip around the circle. But notice it says 2 times, so I have to multiply this by 2. And that will get me my 628 yards. Again, linear distance, just walking or running. The dog is running. So you don't have to put a 2 on it or a 3. We're not measuring squares or cubes. All right, how about number 8? What is the area of a circle with a radius of 1 foot? Use 3.14 for pi and round to the nearest tenth. Okay, again, draw myself a circle because that makes this much easier. And then draw the radius of 1 foot. Okay, so it's 1 foot. Now it's asking for the area. I underline it, and then I write down the formula that will get me area for a circle. And that's this tool. All right, now I plug in the things that we do know, 3.14 for pi. The radius they told us was 1. And then I'm going to put a square on that. Now just do the math on this. 1 squared is 1. 1 times 3.14 is actually 3.14 actually, huh? Now it says round to the nearest tenth. So how do we round this to the nearest tenth? Well, we have to look at this 4 here. Is that 5 or greater? Nope. Drop it off. So it's actually 3.1. And we're measuring in feet. And we're talking about area, so we're talking squares. 3.1 square feet would fit in a circle that has a radius of 1 foot. All right, how about number 9? Number 9. What is the area of the irregular figure, or the composite figure? Use 3.14 for pi and round to the nearest tenth. All right, well, here, just from looking at this, I see that there is a rectangle with a bite taken out of it. So literally, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a rectangle, and I'm going to take a bite out of it. When I say bite, I'm going to subtract. So I need to find the area, 13 by 9, of the whole rectangle. So that's 9 times 13. Whoops. And 9 times 13, I get 117. And then I got to bite out this piece over here. And to find this area, I have to take pi times radius squared to find the area of a full circle, and then divide it in half. We'll use 3.14 for pi. Radius is going to be half of 7, because it's just this piece, which would be 3.5, squared, and then divide by 2. Now when I do that, I actually get 19.2325. So I'm going to take my 117, this piece, and subtract off this piece. Number-wise, I'm going to do 117 minus 19.2325. When I do that, I get 97.76 and some other change. But all I need to do is look at this right here to round here. So since this 6 is 5 or greater, it is greater than 5, that we move this one up right here to 8. So 97.8 meters, and again we're talking area here, squared. Alright, let's look at number 10. What is the area of the irregular figure? Use 3.14 for pi, round to the nearest tenth. Well, this looks like a triangle and half of a circle. And if I draw it here, you can kind of see that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a triangle, find the area of that, and then I'm going to add on this little pimple it has, which is basically a half circle. So how do I figure this out? Well, I need to know the formula for triangle. And I know that that's going to be base times height divided by 2. Now, do I know this base? Well, I know here it's 4 inches from here to here, but then I need to know this as well and add it together. Well, it looks like it's a radius of 3, so 3 there, 3 there, that's 6. So 6 plus 4, the whole thing's going to be 10. So this base is 10. That's a 10. And then the side is 9. So here's your base and your height. So I'm going to do 10 times 9 divided by 2, and that's going to be 45 actually. I can do that in my head. It's 90 divided by 2. I'm going to add this with the answer to this formula right here, and that's the area of that's going to be pi times radius squared divided by 2. So 3.14 times radius of 3 squared and then divided by 2. And I believe that comes out to be 14.13. So this is the area here, this is the area here. Add them together and you get 59.13, which actually rounds to 59.1 inches squared. I'll stop here and I'll do another video for the back side.